After skipping the 75mm around here, let's talk about Sirui's new offerings, which, curiously, come out as a pair instead of the traditional staggered release. Now that they got the boring stuff out of the way, the traditional 50, 75mm, they finally started pursuing the more interesting focal lengths, putting out both a 35mm and 100mm lenses with 1.6 times D-squeeze and capable of covering a full-frame sensor. And gotta say, this 35mm is wild. I mean, wide. Shall we start? With the two new lenses, we have a complete and very versatile 4-lens set with 35, 50, 75, and 100mm lenses with 1.6 times D-squeeze for mirrorless full-frame cameras. More than that, the lenses have matching maximum aperture t2.9, front threads of 82mm, and gear positioning for their iris and focus rings. They also feature a 1/4" 20 hole for lens support. Good job there. As I've said before, the best camera for pairing these is Panasonic's S1H, which I am using right now. The 3x2 open gate mode combined with the 1.6 squeeze gives you native 2.4:1 aspect ratio from the get-go and requires 0 crop. Panasonic, where is our internal 1.6D squeeze? We've been waiting. In order to keep these lenses affordable, $1,279 per lens on crowdfunding and just under $1,500 when they go to retail, their optical design takes full advantage of mirrorless cameras' short flange distances, meaning they can put optics really close to the sensor. This makes things a lot smaller and cheaper, but also means no EF or PL without severe mechanical alterations. The native mounts are Leica L, Sony E, Nikon Z, and Canon RF. Now let's go into detail on the new lenses. We have both a long telephoto and a wide angle. I'll start with the 35mm, then switch over to the 100mm. Check the marks on the timeline if you want to skip ahead. In spherical terms, the 35mm has a horizontal field of view of a 22mm lens, while retaining the longer 35mm focal length for the vertical field of view, resulting in the good old anamorphic look, capturing a lot of the environment, but still making your subject stand out. The aperture features 10 blades, which gives you smooth ovals throughout the range. Yet, it's worth noting that T2.9 is kind of bland. Unless you're riding close to minimum focus, depth of field is pretty significant, creating a video-y look due to the great resolving power of this lens. You know the "it's almost too sharp" thing that you used as an excuse to dumping Zeiss and Rokinon in favor of anamorphics? It's a little bit here too. Focus throw is about 120 degrees, which is short for a cinema-style lens, especially one that already struggles with making everything look sharp. A more spread out focus scale would help you refine where you want maximum sharpness and maybe get a bit more control over the background. On the subject of focus, minimum focus is alright at 85 centimeters. To be honest, it's impressive for an anamorphic lens, but since we have so much field of view, when you're at 85 centimeters or just under 3 feet, you still just feel halfway there. The solution for that is working with diopters, which honestly is a key aspect of working with anamorphics, so get over it. The other upside of using diopters is that keeps you focused closer to infinity. Why is that a big deal? All the lenses in this set use a synchronized focus mechanism. If you want to understand more about synchrofocus and other focusing methods for anamorphics, check out the cookbook's Module 2, Episode 3. While being compact and not changing size or rotating while focusing, good job, this 35mm is pretty hefty at 930 grams, or 2 pounds. On a controversial aspect, this 35mm shows considerable pincushion distortion. A lot of anamorphic enthusiasts despise this type of distortion. But at the same time, This is the distortion you'll find in all Cooke anamorphics, which are loved and desired by many. So pick your team and understand there's people that like a different type of distortion. In any case, even this intense distortion can be adjusted in post-production without much hassle. In terms of sharpness, both lenses deliver what's already expected from Sirui lenses: spectacular resolution across the entire frame, which only increases as you stop down. Considering the fastest stop of t2.9, I'd say use ND filters and max your iris at t4. The same applies to flares, where we still have the super saturated teal tone. These seem a bit more resistant to natural flares, but they won't let you down if you push to get flares in the frame using a dedicated light. Did he take over completely? The lenses seem a bit more resistant to those veiling glare streaks I called area flares, and that is definitely an improvement. Sirui also claims the lenses are color matched, and the two I have here do a pretty good job together, but I'm missing the other two to fully confirm this claim. Check someone else's review. In the original Super 35 set, color matching is all over the place, so if these are all matched up, that is a big improvement as well. Moving on to the 100mm, this is pretty cool for close-ups. Minimum focus is still a bit far at 93 centimeters or just over 3 feet, but because of the longer focal length, you should be okay for plenty of close-up work. Again, resort to diopters if you need to get closer. Oh, we have both imperial and metric focus scales. Forgot to mention that before. Focus throw is shorter here, 100 degrees, and we could really use a longer throw for the increased focal length and accuracy on shots with shallower depth of field. The t2.9 fastest aperture does not hurt the 100mm as it does for the 35mm, for you get plenty of ovals if you are using this lens right. In fact, at minimum focus, I'd even recommend cutting down to t4 or t5.6 to ensure your subject is properly in focus. The 13 aperture blades will help keeping ovals smooth. Distortion is non-existent here. It would be tough to see a 100mm lens with strong distortion. And if the 35mm sounded heavy, the 100mm smashes it with almost 1.5 kilograms of metal and glass. That's 3.3 pounds in front of your camera. Time to dust off that lens support, bud. So, what's the verdict here? There are many things to like on these lenses. The fact that this is a complete and very cheap full-frame anamorphic set is the first one that comes to mind. On their latest campaign, you can get the full set for just over 5K. That also includes an adapter that boosts their squeeze from 1.6 to 2 times and is the subject of a video that's coming up soon. In terms of character, 1.6 synchro focus is a bold choice. The decreasing squeeze at close focus is not as big a deal as I make it sound, especially in a narrative setting. My biggest quirk with the squeeze factor is the fact that there are very few cameras and monitors that offer native support to it. In many monitors, you will have to go through custom settings to get this looking correctly. It's not a deal breaker, just a mild inconvenience. 1.6 times delivers decidedly oval bokeh, even though not as pronounced as 2 times. The ease of use and consistency through the set make these a great solution for a low-budget yet professional production environment. And just looking at the promotional material and other reviews that are popping up, folks are going crazy with what they can do with these. I believe these are the last stop for a lot of folks out there. They deliver solid images and solid performance at a very affordable price. They check many boxes. They're not my final set though, I still want more. A stop faster aperture, a little more squeeze, 1.8 times probably, a little less flaring, less intensity and saturation and more focus throw are some of the things that I'm looking for in my journey for the ideal gear. The last thing to talk about is that we're getting so many options in terms of budget anamorphics and with so many differences between them, that soon enough, everyone will be able to find something they like. If Sirui continues to listen to feedback and improve their lenses, they're still ahead of the competition. So what are your thoughts on this set and these 35 and 100mm lenses? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one. Chit Verheddings, out. In spherical terms, the 35mm has a horizontal field of view of a 22mm lens. What? Finny. So here, you're gonna have to go then. Okay.